The Hurt Locker, it is a movie, but we're going to talk today about building a Hurt Locker, building your tactical locker. This is having all of your gear for self-defense and you have it in one place. Now this isn't just a home defense. This goes into battle belts, plate carriers, having your go-to rifle, and all the items that support that. Guys, if something is going down, which it could, you need to be ready. Having all of your items together is going to be important. I'm just going to be upfront and transparent. It took us a long time to get all of our gear together. In fact, there's some things I'm still looking for. So we're going to talk about it, and guys, this is a project to put together, and it just gets all of your stuff organized. So guys, what this really is a Minuteman setup. And so having your gear in one place is going to be vital. Again, it took us all afternoon to put all this together, and there's still some things missing, and it helps me to figure out what I need to do, where I need to find things. Now, this is my setup, but however you set up your box is up to you. Now, we're using the MTM-Caseguard, and this is the tactical rifle crate. We also have the Mule gear crate that we're going to show because we have a primary and we have a secondary. All right guys, in the top there is a little level here that we can just place into the case, and so right here's where your rifle goes. Now honestly, having your go-to rifle is the main thing you want to do, and so here I have a little Springfield Armory Saint, and this is in the pistol form. It is 5.56. Now I also have, it's the Tippmann Arms 22, and this has a suppressor, and we also have the RovyVon IR white light laser. So I kind of set this up for a night vision setup. I could do the same with this. In fact, I have a suppressor here if I want to attach this, and I have the tool to be able to do it. Really, your setup could be completely different. I like 22 because it's so quiet, and so that really gives me a very stealth kind of setup, especially with the IR type lens, and again you can go to white, and then with the suppressor, and 22 is just deathly quiet. We also have a couple of extra magazines set up, and I have my Eye Pro and Ear Pro. I just have it sitting here. I have some more advanced Ear Pro, but I just have it ready. So for me, this is my primary at first. These are the first things I need to grab, and of course my magazines are ready to go. Now underneath, we've got our support. Now what I love about this case system is you have these little dividers, and you can take these out if you want to stretch them out. If you have bigger gear, you can put it that way. Again, we have 4 different setups, and you organize this however you see fit. First off though, I have my medical, and I wanted it right here with my primary in case this is all I could grab. And I have a couple of trauma kits. I have a small, just little first responder kit, and this is from USN ER Doc. This is great to slip into your pocket, cargo pants pocket. And then I have an extra tourniquet. I also have tourniquets in here, and I just have some shears. We also have some shears in there. So I've got some redundancy here, but I want to make sure that I have the items I need. Also here I have a battle belt. Now a lot of times I might put my primary handgun in the front tray or the top tray, but here I've got a couple of extra AR mags. I've got a couple of my pistol mags, and this is actually from US Grunt Gear. A good buddy of mine down in Florida, he makes really great tactical gear, and we have the Cobra buckles. I mean, this is a nice setup, and this could be great just for home defense. This can be its own kind of setup. Now one thing that I will recommend is having the inner belt, and there's an inner Velcro belt. You use it and put it like you would a regular belt, and then you just put this over it and it attaches to the Velcro, and that way you can take this off really fast. And of course this can be set up in a number of different ways. We're going to show you a couple of other battle belt options. This is just one, and really this is minimal. I mean, it's just got the mags. Also in here I have my comms. So I have my radios, and I have a couple of GMRS radios as well. This is great if you have extra people around and you just need to get on with a couple of extra radios, especially in a security situation. And I have another holster for my radio. In fact, I've got a couple of these that I didn't have with me, so I just wanted to show this. This is a ham radio, and so it really is the ultimate in communications in a grid down situation, but definitely the GMRS radios work really good with security. Another thing I have is a little GPS. And this is a little Garmin. It's a GPS. I can keep up with where I am, and I like to have that. I mean, the orange is definitely a little bit bright, but I can have this tucked away somewhere, and I can make sure that I know my navigation. Also, I do have a compass, and I have a map case, and in here I have laminated maps of the area. So I know where I'm going. Of course, it's redundant with the GPS, but guys, if you're not getting a signal, this is going to be really important. And here you can see I've got them in these cases, and I've got the maps rolled so they don't crease. And so that is the reason why it's in this type case. These are really cool. I think I got this at Sportsman's Guide at one time. I don't know if they still have them, but these are great little cases. And obviously, I could fill this up with more stuff, but then it gets heavier. Here we have, first off, we have the D60 drum. And I could put this actually in the top tray if I wanted, but this gives me a lot of ammunition in one small case. And it's got this little case that it fits into perfectly. And so I could really attach this if I want to my belt. This would go well, or even a plate carrier. And I have a set of tactical gloves. You know, it keeps my hands protected, and that's going to be vital. And then I have some face coverings, and I have a couple of different types. And this is for dust and debris, or, you know, if you want to kind of be discreet. You just have a couple of these. And then also I have one of the Mira. This is one of their gas masks. It's got the filter ready. This is for shooting rifle because the filter is on the other side, but if I was left-handed, I could switch it. This is specifically really geared toward more of a tactical type situation. Do you need a gas mask? You know, it's up to you. It's just according to what's going on, but I have it, and so I wanted to put it in here. This is the best place to have for my tactical gear. And then here at the end, I have all my tools. Now, I have a number of different things. I do have a bipod. If I want to attach it, I can. But really, this is for my cleaning kits. And of course, I have one of the Otis little cleaning tactical kits. I also have a larger one, and this one has the rods in it. I think it's important that you have the actual rods, because if you have a squib and a bullet gets stuck, or a case gets stuck, having these rods are very important. And I can keep my gun maintained, and it has some gun oil in it. And the ripcord. So to be honest, this is my primary, and the small little tactical pouch is my secondary. And this does have a ripcord in it as well. Otis, I mean, they supply kits to the U.S. military, make excellent products. Now I do have a breaching tool. And this is just a small pry bar. I do have some larger ones. In fact, I was going to put it in here. Having a breaching tool can be important if you need to get into a door, if you need to get through some kind of fence or something has lodged against you, and you can use this. It just gives you some breaching capability. And this is actually just an AR-15 wrench, and just for different uses, but mainly to put that suppressor on if I need it. And then, of course, I have a knife, and this is just a Gerber LMF, and these are great knives. It's a basic knife. I have a lot more expensive knives, but this one tends to be one of those that I like to get out, and it's hard use, and I love the case. It makes it easy to attach, and it does have this pommel with a sharp tip on the end. Great little option. Also, I have a multi-tool, and this is the SOG, and this is the Power Assist, and having a multi-tool can be important. And it keeps things in line if you need to do any repairs. Now, I do have a case in here, and really I could have some of these, of course, out, but I just wanted to make sure these were protected. And these are my flashlights. Now, with the lights, I have one that it's actually in a small case. So I can attach this to my belt, and I can get that set up. And then I have some other lights that give me long range capability, and some that are more for self-defense. And I also have a headlamp, and I keep headlamps everywhere because I love them, and a little signaling light if I need it. But this just kind of closes up. It keeps everything together. And I think this box was from Burris. And this is just a cool little box, but having something to be able to protect the different items. Maybe even I should put my radios in here. And so that is the end of the primary. That's in the second level. And of course we have our rifle and all the other accessories in the top section. Well guys, before we get into our secondary case, this is something that's actually a primary. And these are just a couple of battle belt setups. And so while we looked at the rifle and we did look at a small battle belt, these are more set up for actual use. Here we have a drop leg holster. This is from G-Code, just excellent stuff. And it does have the retention, so I can hold on to it and it's not going to come out. Now, this is an older holster, and this was really made before optics cuts. It was made really before people started carrying a lot of lights on their handgun. So this is just a basic. I have a G19X in here from Glock, and of course I have my Glock mags. Here I have have a couple of AR mags, some more pistol mags. This gives me a really strong and padded setup. And this again is from US Grunt Gear. Then I have a drop pouch, of course, to keep my extra magazines instead of just throwing them on the ground. Of course, I could have a separate kit here with a IFAK and admin, different things like that. And then we have another one right here. And this one is more camouflage, it's a little thinner. This one, again, you need those inner belts. This is gonna be great to, again, to have it around your waist, and you can just take this right off. But again, pistol mags, rifle mags, and G-code, these are great, these Scorpion mag holders, I love them. And then again, I have my pistol. Now here, I have a non-retention holster, but it has retention to it. And so it locks in, and this allows me to have my light and my optic, and so it fits it very well. And of course, this one is particularly made for Olight, and this is just a good setup. And this is the Glock Model 17, and this is Gen 5. And then also over here, I have my dump pouch, and these are from Maxpedition. I have a number of these, I really like them. And this is part of the G-code system to be able to lock these in, and this was on from an earlier expedition that I had. In fact, I was up at Jaeger's before he passed away doing the Way of the Pistol, but I have done a lot of tactical classes where this kind of setup is just great. Or if you're doing competitive shooting, if you're into 3-gun and you're doing a lot, you already got a setup. But this is for us guys that are just out there to be a Minuteman. Now guys, I have some slings here. I have a number of slings actually, and slings are vital for your rifle. Except for ammunition and possibly an optic, your sling system is going to be your retention system. Number one is if you're carrying it a lot and you're walking, you're going to want to be able to put it over your shoulder. But even more importantly, Kyle Rittenhouse is alive right now because he had a sling on his rifle. And if they'd gotten it away from him, it could have turned out a lot different. So slings are important. Now the reason I don't have these already attached is because, you know, that was one of the things. I couldn't find my QD swivels. But that's part of putting this together. Another point is if you don't have plates, if you don't have body armor, then having a very lightweight sling option vest, this is just an LBE, which is load-bearing equipment. You want to have something where you can have your magazines. And this is a very simple system. It has a medical kit here at the bottom, and it just has straps, and it's a harness, and it fits, and it has your magazines. So there are a lot of different setups. It's according to how you want to do it. But let's get to the secondary box, and of course we have those 4 latches. By the way, it has a gasket seal around it, so it's going to protect it from moisture and things like that. Now in here, I do have my plate carrier. We have this decked out, and it has plates in it, and it's ready to go. It's heavy. Of course, plates are heavy. But we have our magazines set up. I have pistol magazines on the side. I even have a med kit or a trauma kit over here, and this is tucked away. Also, I have a flashlight here where I can get right to it. Now over here, this is going to be a little different for a lot of guys, but night vision has become more and more plausible. The big thing about night vision is it is a superpower, and you may not have a PVS-14, and these are expensive. The helmet's expensive, and the mounts are expensive, but this is, again, a superpower. And the one thing about this is I can see in the dark when others can't, and so this gives me a huge advantage. Also, I have a deballed, and this is a Steiner, and these are expensive as well, and this is a laser designator, so an illuminator. But the helmet, this is actually a bump helmet, so it has a little less weight to it. I do have batteries in the back to give it a little more weight when I have my PVS-14 on the front. But the big thing about having any kind of helmet in a covering is that it just protects your head, but you don't necessarily need a Kevlar helmet if you're not in a combat zone. And also, I have my ears right here, my hearing protection that lines up to it. But this is just a great little option. I have a little IR light right here. So just a nice setup, and we were with TNVC. In fact, I've got one of their patches, and we did the Night Fighter 101. It was phenomenal. Night vision, whether you go with something like the PVS-14, or maybe you just go with something that is more budget friendly. Having some means of night vision is going to be really important to have, and it's going to give you some superiority. We have other accessories here that go with the night vision, and they have some IR lighting setups, and there's a lot more. In fact, I have other night vision accessories that go with this, but this is just what I pulled out. Now this is one thing that's a little different, and this is a thermal scope. It's the BTS 50 by Burris, and this is a phenomenal scope. Being able to use that thermal. One thing about thermal, it picks up heat signatures. And while night vision, you can see, you can hide from night vision. With thermal, it's difficult to hide. And so I really like the thermal option. But typically your PVS 14 is a little clearer and you have a little better identification. With your thermal, sometimes it can be a little muddled, even though these Burris scopes are tremendous. And these are great for hunting as well. And so I went ahead and brought this because I'm going to transport this, or obviously have it together to where if I need this, I can at least set it up on a rifle if the need arises. And also I have a little FLIR thermal monocular that really works great. But guys, again, having some sort of night vision capability really sets you apart. It gives you some advantages, and again, it's almost like a force multiplier. It is a superpower, but it is expensive. Now this is a small tray, and so we can move this, and this is the Mule mobile crate. And again, this is MTM. Now here in the bottom, I just have some clothes. I have some cargo pants. I have a green shirt, just subdued colors. I do have a hoodie that is camouflaged. It's not necessarily US military, and that was by design. Camouflage is very popular, but this was just my choice. I decided to go with just some subdued colors and just a brown hat that I have. Also, I have some socks, and I keep my boots separate. I don't put them in here, but I have them near where I can get to them. And really, I just ran out of room to put the boots in here. So there is a lot of gear. You may have to set up 2 or 3 boxes. And then I have binoculars. Now, one thing about binoculars, I think we lose a lot of advantage not having them, because one of the things binoculars can do is you can identify at long distances. You can get detail. And that is one thing I love about binoculars. I may look down into a certain area and I really can't tell what somebody's doing. I look through my binoculars and I can identify if they're up to something, or maybe they're just passing through. That way I'm not pointing a rifle scope at someone. So binoculars to me are very important. Also, I have a Camelback down here that I can put in my backpack, but I have one in my backpack now. That's just really a redundant water source, which you should have. And really, I'd probably have a couple of pair of socks in here. But this is a cool little tray. I can just pick it up and move it. One thing about it is, according to where you're going to store your hurt locker, you don't necessarily want to leave your night vision and your thermal and your bump helmet and that kind of stuff just sitting around that can be stolen. So maybe you could have this set aside in a safe somewhere, and then you know where it is. You can put it in your box. Now you also need to have your backpack. You need to have certain supplies in there, sometimes a little bit of food, maybe some water filtration, different things that you're just going to need, and some admin items as well. And so having a small little backpack, and of course you can have your hydration bladder in there, which is definitely going to be a big plus. But when it comes to your tactical gear, that is the gear that's everywhere. To be honest with you, I keep my go bags in my car, and they're always there. So if I need them, I just can strap it on once I get all my gear together. But again, guys, this is really just to kind of encourage you and inspire you if you have gear, because you can look. I mean, there's gear all over the place, and it's nice to have a place to just have it. You put everything in there, you know where it is. If you have firearms, keep them safe. Keep them in the safe, but you know where they are, so you can get them out and put them up and put them in your box if you need to get to it. But for all the other items, it just keeps it really organized, and it really makes you a Minuteman. So guys, having all of your gear organized, that's really the goal. However you set it up is up to you. And there are a lot of different options. A lot of guys think in different ways. But really, again, you're just a Minuteman, and you have everything ready at your disposal. And that's what the Hurt Locker is all about. Be strong, be of good courage. God bless America. Long live the Republic. Guys, I really like the battle belt. Blah, 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 blah. What I'm really saying is, let's get it organized. What I'm really saying. What am I really saying? But a lot of times, we have a lot. I don't want to do it that way. Let's do it again. I mean, you don't have to. Well, yeah, you can do it. And this is actually from Oh no. And this is actually from, okay. With the helmet, this, okay. Typically, okay, no.